BTS News Today. Behind the gleaming lights of the stage and the incessant cheering of the fans, there is another side of the life of idols that is often invisible to the outside world. One of them is the deep struggle, full of dedication and sacrifice, experienced by Kim Taehyung, or better known by his stage name, V of BTS. In recent weeks. News about the activities of BTS members who are still serving in the military has become a hot topic of discussion. However, no one would have thought that in the midst of all this routine, one of them would experience a rather alarming deterioration in physical condition. And that's Taehyung. What exactly happened? And how did Jungkook react when he learned of the shocking examination results? The story begins with a physical training session conducted by the division in which Taehyung served. As always, members of the military undergo a fairly intense training routine, designed to increase strength, endurance, and discipline. Taehyung, who is known as someone who always wants to give his best performance wherever he is no exception when taking this training. He gave all his strength, even when his body began to show signs of fatigue. Some colleagues reported that Taehyung looked quieter than usual after the training session. His eyes were glazed over, his body was a little shaky, but he still smiled and said that he was fine. Taehyung is not the type to give up or complain. However, secretly, his condition began to deteriorate. His breathing became shorter, and he often experienced chest pain and unusual fatigue. His close associates start to get anxious, but Taehyung dismisses those concerns with a light-hearted joke, saying that he just needs a break. When Jungkook, who was in a different division, heard this from an acquaintance at the headquarters, he immediately felt uneasy. He knows Taehyung better than anyone. He knew that behind his smile and calm demeanor, your friend may be in deep pain. Jungkook couldn't sit still. He immediately applied for permission to visit Taehyung, and when the opportunity came, he went straight to the headquarters where Taehyung was. When they finally meet, Taehyung welcomes her with his usual smile, trying to act calm and as if everything is fine. However, for Jungkook, Taehyung's eyes could not lie. There was a deep fatigue that was clearly visible there. There was something that he did not express in words. Jungkook hugged her tightly, and in that embrace, he could feel how thin Taehyung's body was now. Without wasting any time, Jungkook persuades Taehyung to do a more thorough medical examination. Although initially reluctant, Taehyung eventually agrees, perhaps because he knows Jungkook won't calm down before he does. The test came out 2 days later, and when Jungkook read it, he could only be silent. The doctor states that Taehyung has chronic fatigue, electrolyte deficiency, as well as signs of a mild decrease in heart function due to too heavy training loads. This is not a trifle. If not treated seriously, this condition can endanger his long-term health. Jungkook is shocked, and at the same time, angry at himself for feeling too late to realize his best friend's condition. Taehyung, as usual, tries to calm Jungkook down. "I'm fine, Kook," he said quietly. But those words only made Jungkook's heart ache even more. He knew Taehyung wasn't doing well, and he couldn't let him keep pretending to be strong. Jungkook also took a more active role. He talks directly to Taehyung's boss, deliver medical results, and asked that his friend be given adequate rest. With strong evidence, the request was finally granted. Taehyung was given time to recover and was referred for minor treatment to stabilize his condition. During that recovery period, Jungkook became an ever-present figure by Taehyung's side. Every time his permission came, he would take the time to visit. They sat under a pine tree in the courtyard of the headquarters, shared stories of the past, sang softly, and laughed together as before. But behind the laughter, Jungkook harbors a deep fear. What if something happens to Taehyung? What if he realizes too late? Slowly but surely, Taehyung began to improve. He began to eat more regularly, his sleep patterns were improved, and his physical exercises were adapted to the capabilities of his body. Doctors recommend that he focus on mental and physical recovery and not overexert himself as before. In a letter written by Taehyung to Jungkook, which was later shared by one of the military staff with his permission, it was revealed how important Jungkook's presence was in his recovery process. He wrote, "You came at a time when I couldn't even be honest with myself, Kook. Thank you for not letting me pretend any longer." The letter made thousands of ARMY readers emotional. Many do not think that behind all the beauty they see on stage, there are stories of friendship and struggle that are so real, touching, and moving. Support from fans was pouring in on social media. The hashtags #GetWellSoonTaehyung and #ThankYouJungkook have been trending globally for several days. Not only the ARMY, even fellow celebrities and public figures also voiced their support. Some of them highlight the importance of maintaining mental and physical health in the pressures of the entertainment world and heavy military duty. After a few weeks, Taehyung again showed a more sincere smile. The laughter is more loose. and the spirit is slowly rekindled. He began to go through the routine with renewed vigor, but now with full awareness that health is the most valuable thing that cannot be ignored. Meanwhile, Jungkook has changed. He has become more protective of the people he loves, especially the members of BTS. He realizes that being strong does not mean holding everything alone, but also know when to ask for help and when to rest yourself. This story isn't just about Taehyung and his declining health. This is a story about sincere friendship, about the courage to be true to yourself, and about the love that does not say much, but is always present when needed. In the midst of the harshness of the world, this story is a reminder that everyone, even a figure as strong as Taehyung, has the right to be tired, has the right to rest, and has the right to heal. And for Jungkook, seeing Taehyung smile back is the biggest win. A victory that cannot be compared with the cheers of the audience in any stadium. A moment that only two hearts that have gone through a lot together can understand, in silence, in strength, and in unspoken love. During his recovery, Taehyung is placed in a special treatment room within the military compound, away from the strenuous physical exercise and stress of the routine. In the room, he began to spend time with reading, writing, and reflect on many things that he may have overlooked so far. In the silence, Taehyung begins to realize that he has been too hard on himself, trying to always be the best version that others expect, to the point of forgetting to listen to your own body and heart. Jungkook, despite having to return to his respective headquarters, keep trying to be present in a way that he can. He sent letters every other day. The letters were not just ordinary messages of encouragement, but handwritten ones full of stories, personal jokes, and even pieces of song lyrics that he wrote himself. In one of his letters, Jungkook wrote, "Hyung, you once said that the night sky in winter makes you feel lonely. But the same sky, I see from here, and I think, if we're looking at the same star, maybe you're not completely alone. I was here, always there." The letter Taehyung kept under his pillow. Read it over and over again every night, as if to be a tranquilizer in a long quiet. Meanwhile, news of Taehyung's condition begins to spread more widely. Although not officially announced by the agency, some staff close to the members began sharing their concerns via social media. One of the BTS staff wrote with emotion, "Taehyung is not only an artist, he's a big-hearted human being. He tries to always be strong, even when his body gives up. We beg you, let's support him with love, not demands." The post touched millions of hearts. Army from various countries began to write letters of support sent to the office HYB. There is a letter from Brazil that tells how Taehyung has saved the life of a depressed person with just his smile and music. There was also a letter from a fan in Japan who said that her voice was the reason she could sleep at night. The letters were eventually sorted out and some of them were delivered directly to Taehyung. Taehyung cried as he read it. He did not know that his existence had such an impact. Deep down, he feels guilty for worrying about the people who love him, but at the same time, he also felt blessed to be surrounded by such sincere love.